Making a slip knot. There are 3 ways to make a slip knot. The first is really quite simple. You hold the tail end of your yarn in your left hand, letting the tail drape down. You hold the yarn that's attached to the ball in your right hand. Now you take the yarn, you drape it over your forefinger and your middle finger, and you make 1.5 loops around so that your yarn ends up in the back. Now go ahead, take a little bit of that yarn, tuck it underneath the loop, pull it up, slide out your fingers, and tighten your strands until you've created a slip knot. Now, just slide your needle through, tighten up your yarn, and you're ready to cast on. The second way of making a slip knot is what I call the pretzel method. You're going to take that tail end of your yarn in your left hand. Let me get mine here. And you're just going to kind of wrap it up into a smaller, more manageable piece to hold on to. The rest of it, you're going to begin laying out into a simple circle on a flat surface. As you come down to the bottom of that circle, you're actually going to bypass it and come back up so that you make what appears to be a pretzel shape. Now with this extra tail end of yarn, I'm actually going to take it and I'm going to pass it underneath the bottom right hand of my pretzel. I'm going to kind of straighten it out here so that you can see it really does look like a pretzel. Now I've got 2 bars running kind of down and at a diagonal angle in the middle of my pretzel. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to just lift up that second bar. I'm going to take the 2 strands of my yarn, tighten it up until I have a knot, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten that knot all the way up to my needle, ready to cast on. Alright, the third and final way to make a slip knot is probably the most difficult. It's the one I used for a long time until I found easier methods. It's going over the needle. Now watch what I do. I take the tail end of my yarn, I drape it over my needle so it's on the back side. I bring it forward to the left, around the strand that's attached to my ball, back to the right, and all the way around so it's back on my left hand side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay my needle down. It might be a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing with it being laid down. You can see that my strand is twisted around. I'm going to actually separate out a little bit of that, and I'm going to bring my tail in and I'm going to tuck it through. Now, like I said, this is probably one of the more difficult ways to make a slip knot. I don't know why this was the way I learned it at first. I taught myself, so who knows. But anyway, it's difficult, but once you get the hang of it through a little bit of practice, it becomes easier and easier and easier. So once again, those were the 3 ways to make a slip knot, your first step in casting on.